Make48 is funded by
Stanley Black & Decker provides tools and services around the globe to help turn great ideas into reality and to help us shape the world we live in. We proudly support programming that inspires invention, innovation, and hard work. Together with Make48, we're providing men and women the tools and resources to build a better world. Stanley Black & Decker, for those who make the world.
Previously on Make48. The teams made their final presentation to the judges.
We would love to sell this product for $8.99.
And the top 3 products were announced.
Studio Potluck from the School of the Art Institute of Chicago with Mary!
Now the journey to the marketplace begins.
The 3 teams are all college students, right? So it's different than what we're usually used to with competitions. It's very different, actually, than what the inventors are like, because the kids have a lot more experience with machinery. Digital fabrication is very common in the colleges. They have access to everything from obviously their 3D printers to the CADs to everything up to lathes, right? We had art students, so very creative with the appeal of a product, what it looks like, compared to the design engineering students that can make anything mechanically work. Different mindsets. So we're going to work with them all, and I'm sure they're going to bring a lot of good ideas to us too. Okay, boys, great weekend.
Yes, it was.
You caught up in your sleep, Bob, or what?
I think I have. It was exciting.
Rich, what about the teams? You like that college team format or what?
I think it was great. One difference in the college teams I noticed is normally we're doing a lot of CAD work, a lot of design work for teams, and this time we did very, very little because the teams, being a lot of engineering and art students, they really didn't need the CAD help. They already knew how to do that stuff, so that was cool. So we had a little more downtime, but we were running machines and doing a lot of tool work and stuff like that.
What about urgency? The tool techs didn't seem to do too much in that first 24 hours. Is that correct or what?
Yeah, because the teams didn't really see the urgency of 48 hours.
Right.
So they just kind of, they're more lackadaisical about it. And I don't know if that's because they're used to deadlines with tests and that sort of thing, or they just used to pushing things to the last minute.
But in 48 hours, I guess at the end of the day, they got it done because we got 3 good-looking prototypes come out. 1, 2, and 3, right?
Every team had a prototype.
Prototypes are great, and in my book, it's a requirement to do a prototype, a working prototype, or at least a really good looks like, feels like prototype. But there's a whole lot more to it than that. And actually getting a product from that stage to a store shelf is huge. And it takes a lot of people. It takes marketing, distribution, packaging, manufacturing. It goes on, and not to mention money.
So we're at that point right now. So we're going to take these prototypes and improve on them, okay, and see if we can get them to market one way or another, if indeed possible. There's a lot of challenges with that. I'm going to get Rich and Bob. They're experts in reprototyping. So these guys have a lot of experience with electrical, obviously wood. Bob's an expert with the wood, Rich with electrical. But Rich, what do you think? The Neri? I love the Neri. It looks good.
Yeah, the Neri, it looks fantastic. Art students did a great job on it. I do electronics, so I'd be willing to take a swing at that, maybe see what we can do with the Neri.
I've worked with electronics a long time, and I have a lot of friends and people in the network of inventors that can certainly take on projects like that or help where I'm needing it.
What about regulations? You think with carbon monoxide, it's got to be a liability issue. There's got to be a lot of that kind of stuff. It just can't go to market quickly, right?
Yeah, obviously regulations, and there are carbon monoxide detectors on the market, obviously. But most of them are larger. So getting the electronics inside this small little bird could be a challenge. And that's the first thing I'd see. And then obviously it's got to be battery operated as well. So then we have to get the batteries in there too.
Right.
And I don't know. I think the way I'd attack this first is go to a hardware store somewhere, buy some carbon monoxide detectors, rip one apart, and see what makes it work. And if we can shrink it down, talk to some people to do that sort of thing. And just go from there. Get Rick involved because he's a battery guy. Maybe Travis knows a lot about electronics, bring him in, give him a call. And just see what we can do, see if we can actually fit everything that's needed inside of that small little bird.
There's already carbon monoxide detectors on the market, so we're going to look into that and see what they're doing and how we may be able to put this in that pretty package.
My experience at the Art Institute was good. I was here for 2 years, and I also studied 2 years in Florida where I did most of my elective courses. So I was really here only for the fun stuff, design studios, and really hands-on classes. So I was basically in 2 programs. One of them was the sculpture, and the other one was design objects.
So I graduated last May with a degree in fine arts, but since we are interdisciplinary, my concentration was in object design.
So I started in architecture and then I didn't feel fulfilled with the scale of working on such a large scale on more theoretical projects that aren't realized, and so I started doing more designed object work to actually kind of like get my hands dirty in the shop and, you know, produce some material objects.
I started as a mainly fine arts major with just painting and drawing classes, kind of learning the technical skills. I was kind of focused on becoming a draftsman, just honing in my skills of being able to plan things and design things two-dimensionally. And then I realized that also wasn't for me. There was too much freedom. I needed more direction. I needed to be told no. So I came to the design department where they were quick to shoot me down if anything didn't work out, and I was happy about that. It was more problem solving. I really enjoyed the problem solving of it.
I went to a tennis academy in high school, so I sort of chose a college where I could play in the NCAA and be part of the tennis team. But soon after I got into college, I realized that wasn't really for me, and the art school and the arts program there wasn't the best of its kind. So then I looked into a bigger city and a better school at arts and design, and that's how I landed here in Chicago.
And then I got into designed objects, building stories for material and becoming sort of like a design author. And SAIC really pushes the conceptual language of objects. So the back end of things and having to research it and think about formality and like vernaculars of objects and how people relate with them was more of what interested me than more sculpture, painting, and the actual fine arts of it, but design thinking and problem solving.
I like sculpture. I've always been an artist, but I'm also attracted to designing something from prototype to final product.
Here it's concept, concept, concept. Like you have your concept, you stick to the concept, everything goes back and is filtered through the concept, and that makes your product, you know, well-rounded in the end, and you know, stick true to what you wanted it to be intentionally in the beginning. And I think that's really important, not to lose track of that.
Bob, what do you think? You got any comfort on any of these products or what?
You definitely know a lot about doors, being in the construction business.
Mm-hmm.
In every event, there's always that 1 or 2 teams you work with a lot. And the slide and turn team was definitely the team that I seemed to spend a little more time than others with. And it just seemed like a good fit to take that product and take it to the next stage in prototyping. I'd like to take on this, if that's all right. Great team. I think I spent a lot of time with them building their prototype display, I guess, of the door. Mm-hmm. I'm in construction, my day job anyway, so I tend to know a little bit of maybe more than the average bear on doors and in-swings, out-swings, what sizes, jam thicknesses, door casings. There's a place in town here, Kansas City, that Machine Head. They're a metal fabrication, kind of an art shop. Mm-hmm. I think we should go down there and see what their thoughts are too.
Yeah, because what they would do, they could bend the materials,
Yeah.
Because to bend this in a certain shape, what did it take at the event? Was it heating the steel up and doing it old-fashioned?
I think Stan did that. He did a great job. It just basically heated it up, and they kept bending and bending until they found a shape they like. Some of the concerns, which we'll get into, is, you know, we want to make one product fit all doors. So with the slide and turn, we always know the device would be installed on the knob side. So the question is, does the door swing away from you when you're in the classroom or toward you? Meaning toward you would be in swing, swinging away from you would be out swing, is the correct terminology for that type of door swing. That'll be a big challenge, but I think we can assemble a team and keep moving forward.
With invention, it takes multiple people to always make products. Most people can't do it all. They may have one skill, but you always have to rely on other people.
My name is Will Jones. I'm a junior in systems engineering at the University of Illinois.
I'm a senior here at Illinois. I'm studying computer engineering. Yeah, I grew up playing video games and always on the computer. So when I got to college, it was like, well, there's this one major that it's really clear I probably want to do this. So when I got here, I transferred in to computer engineering and I loved it.
So I chose the University of Illinois because I'm actually local. It was pretty much a first choice. I live about 10 miles south of campus. So, I grew up with a pretty big engineering school right next door, which was awesome.
Illinois is a really good challenge. Like the classes I have to take, some of them make me stay up, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And actually, I really like that because it's really challenging. And I know that some schools maybe won't let me do that. And then there's hackathons I also like, just like Make48. And they provide all of this.
So I really like seeing the automation behind manufacturing. It's really cool for me as a maker and on kind of a desktop scale to see something come out of this wire filament on a 3D printer or cut something out of a block of foam or wood on a CNC. That's always interested me. I think it'd be really cool to go into a more industrial scale, either using those kind of machines for manufacturing or even helping to design those kind of machines and the processes they work on.
I started in the Maker Lab my freshman year as a volunteer, and I really liked that people could just come in and really build whatever they wanted.
Me, Dash, and Yuk Schwinn and Susie are all volunteers or gurus at the Maker Lab. So we're the lab staff. We manage all the printers, we manage the people coming in, help people print stuff, design things for people, etc.
In this Maker Lab, there's obviously a lot of printers.
So yeah, the Maker Lab is open to not only students at the university, but faculty, staff, researchers, and we're also open to the community.
So that if you need to do something, you can do it. We also have workshops that will teach you a lot about 3D printing, and it will get you involved with your first projects in 3D printing.
I wish they had this when I was a kid. 3D printers and the ability to have these kids teach us how to use them. 3D printers just open up the world for inventors. So I encourage everybody to seek out some 3D printing shop, and most of them are free. These kids are around all this technology, so I think I'm showing my age that kids nowadays have all this technology in front of them. I just wish I was a kid now than back then.
So I'm a senior at Tulane, and I'm studying engineering physics with a concentration in mechanical engineering.
So I graduated May of 2018 with a degree in biomedical engineering.
I'm a sophomore at Tulane University. I'm studying engineering physics is the name of our major here with a concentration in mechanical engineering.
I studied architecture at Tulane. It's a 5-year master's program, and I just finished this past year.
Coming here was a huge adjustment, but I felt that it offered the most unique experience in terms of all the other schools that I was choosing from, and I've met great people here, and the entire experience has just been more than I could have ever asked for.
The school and the city are also just such incredible experiences.
Honestly, one of my favorite things that drew me here was the makerspace. When I first came in here, I was interested in engineering, and a lot of people offered to show me around. I felt like there was like a lot of friendly air on campus, as well as I feel like there's a lot of entrepreneurship going on campus and like a lot of creativity. And I just really liked that. That was a huge part of why I came here.
I worked at the Tulane Makerspace, and it's fun to be able to do rapid prototyping as well and learn about how to make something. And it's not necessarily perfect, but it's fun to just have your hands on something and make it a physical thing. Now I'm a student at Vanderbilt University doing a master's of engineering in cyber-physical systems.
Tulane is definitely one sort of culture and atmosphere of kind of learning and connecting with other people. And then outside of that, New Orleans is obviously a very unique city, and that was one of the cool things, especially about the architecture program, was that it kind of crossed that barrier a little bit, and it wasn't just theoretical work. We actually got to meet with different groups outside of the school and do some projects that were more conscientious about the people that would be using them and how they would sort of affect the people that aren't always considered when new design projects are put up. So I think that was really invaluable, kind of getting to see multiple perspectives and switch back and forth between this kind of safe scholarly bubble and then sort of a much realer kind of outside world and the real world applications.
I'm really drawn to mechanical engineering due to I like the hands-on kind of action, and just the whole I feel like it's kind of a broad field, and I didn't want to go into a super research heavy field or anything. I just wanted to kind of get out there, hands-on.
Product design is actually something I've been highly interested in from an early age. I really love the thought of just inventing and making and creating something that hasn't been created before.
I wasn't really sure about the ins and outs of architecture until I got into it, and it was a great experience. I learned a lot. I learned how to take a lot of things from sort of seeing them in my head to putting them on paper and then actually getting them in sort of a physical realm. And that was, I guess, one of the big things that then also drew me to this competition.
Rich, the flat light. What do you think about that?
I like the flat light. I like that one a lot. And I can take that one on as well. It's another electronic project, not as complicated electronically as the Neri, but maybe a little more doable too. I like what it does. I like the team, and I know Stan was working with that team pretty closely, so I'd probably give Stan a call, see what he thinks, see if he wants to get involved a little bit. He's also an optics expert.
That's right, he is.
Yeah, he is. And so maybe we can get Stan and me working on that, and we'll just see what we can come up with.
Rich's network's very extensive. It goes out a long way, and he'll be able to bring those people together to take it to the next level and to make it work, a rough working prototype, but make sure it can work and function.
I think obviously we need to shrink that down a little bit. This is pretty big.
That was one of my concerns, is trying to find a product that can adapt to any type of flashlight. It's usually challenging. It's like the doors, right?
Yeah.
There's a million variations of these products, and you're trying to make one fit all is very tough. But I'm thinking the same as you, and I know that other people, when we're doing our prejudging and whatnot, a small contained version with the electronics, it can be stored a lot easier. You can find it. Maybe a magnet system can hang on a toolbox or something like that.
48 hours. I'm impressed with what they did. Yeah. That's a short amount of time.
All of them in 48 hours. Every one of these, no question.
I love product development. I love inventing. I love the process. I love business. So I like seeing things through like that. In both products, that I'm looking at, the flat light and the Canary, they're great products, and I'm looking forward to working those through and seeing what we can do to make them better and hopefully get them on the shelf. We'll see.
Okay, boys. Well, don't I hold you up. You might want to get to work, or?
We got a lot to do.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's get at it.
All right.
While Bob and Rich get to work on developing new prototypes, Tom meets with a patent attorney to discuss intellectual property protection.
With IP of the products, it's very important at the very beginning, and we do this at the beginning of Make48, is to check the IP, to make sure that you can put intellectual property on your product, some type of patent protection, whether it's design, utility, and then just as important, making sure you're not infringing on someone else. Because I see it a lot, people will often invest very heavily, time and money, tooling, building something to find out that one, it already exists, but two, someone else already has a patent on it that's going to stop you from selling that product.
This one's an interesting one because it actually touches on probably every area of intellectual property. It probably can't be protected by a utility patent, which would cover its function, because a carbon monoxide detector isn't new. Now, if there was something unique about how they had to figure out how to get it to work in this particular solution, for example, if they were all previously hardwired and nobody figured out how to make one wireless, and there was some component that they put in here that was unique that allowed it to work in a portable format, you might be able to go after some utility protection there. The obvious choice for patent protection in this instance would be through design patent protection. Design patents cover the ornamental appearance of an object.
Okay.
They cannot cover function. So if the shape is somehow dictated by the function, you can't use a design patent.
Moving forward with the NERI, the IP on the product, we know it probably can't be a patent-protected product simply because carbon monoxide detectors already exist.
Copyright law will also protect, this is a three-dimensional work of art, just like a sculpture. So copyright law will be in existence and will have some ability to go after someone from day one.
After speaking to Clint, he came up with some really good points. Obviously, he agreed that the patent couldn't be done like we thought. But copyright, something I'd never heard of, was a work of art has got instant copyright protection. The bird itself, the shape, the design, the look, is protected under the copyright law.
In the United States, copyright immediately exists upon creation of the work. A copyright doesn't protect any of the ideas. Anybody can write a comic book about a flying superhero. But what copyright protects is just the particular expression of that idea, the unique features, the way you've expressed it.
When people see something and they invent something, often it's an inspiration from something else.
Sure. Yep.
So in this scenario, with the bird designs that they used and they were thinking of, is there copyright on another industry that is going to get them into trouble if that was to come to market like this?
Yeah, so if they came in here and they said, we're going to take one of these Eames designs, one of these birds that clearly they created this particular design of the bird, and said, we just want to hollow that out.
Right.
And put our detector in that, and we're going to mass produce that, then we'd have a problem.
Trademarking and branding is another very confident one that people can do and protect easy. Is there a way we can protect the sound if the canary makes a special chirp when the batteries are running low, or obviously when there's an emergency, it's going to have to be a loud siren type or a bird type sound. Can you protect that in any way?
So, yeah, good question. There's actually two possible ways that you can protect the sound. The first way is copyright law. Again, if there's enough there that there is some uniqueness or expression, then you could protect or would automatically have protection in the sound recording, just like you would if you were an artist and you sang a song and it was recorded. It's fixed in a tangible media, it's capable of reproduction. Okay. So the sound, the particular chirping sound, if you created your own unique bird chirping sounds. Now, if you went out and just recorded a canary doing its own thing, there's probably not enough there for copyright protection. The other part that could be interesting is you can get trademark protection on a sound. So for example, again, trademarks are source identifiers. Okay. So the NBC chimes, if you hear those and you're watching TV, people have associated that particular chimes with a brand, and they would know what channel or TV station they were on. In this particular instance, what you would try to go for maybe is that you would try to get that unique sound and get people to associate. Again, use that in your advertisements. Try and associate that sound in the mind of consumers with portable smoke detectors or carbon monoxide detectors. It is possible that you could ultimately get some trademark protection on the shape of the object. So we did talk about design patents a little bit, but in this particular instance, shapes of products can be source identifiers. For example, if you had a piece of chocolate with a cone-shaped piece, most people would associate that with a Hershey's Kiss. Okay. That shape is actually a registered trademark, and if people were selling chocolate in that particular shape, they could go sue them for trademark infringement on the grounds that someone seeing that product would likely think it comes from Hershey's.
One of the things about the NERI is it's not really, it's a different invention in that it's really just a design. It's just the look and feel of the product itself. Its shape, its design, that's the product.
So there's a lot of different ways that you could protect pieces of it, and the more pieces that you could protect, the bigger fence you put around your intellectual property.
On the next Make48, Bob visits a metal shop to get advice.
And this is the product they came up with. It's just a 1/4-inch steel device.
And Rich enlists some tool techs to help develop the prototypes.
Let's just get out of the box and think about it and see, like, anything, just throw it at the wall and see what you got.
Make48 is funded by
Stanley Black & Decker provides tools and services around the globe to help turn great ideas into reality and to help us shape the world we live in. We proudly support programming that inspires invention, innovation, and hard work. Together with Make48, we're providing men and women the tools and resources to build a better world. Stanley Black & Decker, for those who make the world.
To learn more about the invention process and to get to know the teams, visit Make48.com.